right? So in this class, let us see about the control statements. So why actually we need the control statements? So control statements are required to make decision in such a way that only some part of the program should be executed instead of executing the whole part. So that is where we need the control statements. So basically the control statements are categorized into two types. There are two fundamental types of control statements. The first one is decision making statements, which are going to decide which actions are to be performed. That means, as I said, which part of the program should be executed depending on the condition. That is what is decision making. You have to make the decision. Second part is looping statements. If you want to execute a set of statements repeatedly, then we make use of looping statements. And they will also decide how many times an action has to be performed. That means you want to repeat some set of statements in a program, and you will decide how many times you want to repeat those statements. So that particular thing is decided by these looping statements. It is decided by these looping statements. And we may have combination of both in our program. We'll be using both in our program, that is looping statements as well as decision making statements. Now let us see, the first thing is about decision making statements. So what decision making statements indicate here is, in the program you may have to make decision like which particular part has to be executed. If there are n number of parts or segments in a program, among n number of segments, which particular program you want to, which particular part or segment you want to execute. So that is decided based on the decision making statement. So these are the fundamental decision making statements provided in C programming language. If statement, if else statement, and switch statement. So how the if statement works? If statement executes a specific set of instructions only if the given expression is true. That means some expression or some condition will be checked by using if statement. If that particular condition or expression is true, then the corresponding set of statements will be executed. If the expression evaluates to false, it is possible whenever there is a condition, the condition can be either true or false. If it is true, execute some set of statements. False, then those set of instructions will be skipped and the program will execute with the next statements. And it is possible that a program can contain multiple if statements. So let us see one example how the if works. The if statement will have always an expression. This is the syntax of the if statement. And whatever this expression is there within the if statement, that will always evaluate to either true or false. That will always evaluate to either true or false, this expression. If it is true, it is possible that the expression evaluates to either true or false. If it is true, what we have to do here is, whatever statements are present within this opening bracket and this closing brace, they must be executed. And what are the statements? Statement 1, statement 2, up to statement n. That means these are executable statements present in the if block. You can call it as the if block. So these will be executed from here to here. These statements will be executed only if this condition is true. If it is true. If it is false, what we do? These statements will not be executed. That's it. That is how the if works. First, evaluate the expression. Check whether the expression is resulting into true or false. If it is resulting into true, we will execute the statements present within this. If it is evaluating to false, then we will skip these statements. That is a very simple functionality of the if statement or if block. The flowchart is going to help us. This is the entry point of the if. That means here there is some condition. Within this, here there is some condition, or you can also call it as in our case, it is some expression. There is some condition or there is some expression. Now, whenever you check an expression, as you know, that evaluates to either true or false. That evaluates to either true or false. If it evaluates to true, that what we do? We execute the set of statements. We execute the set of statements, execute the set of statements, come back and again continue with the normal flow. What it indicates here is continue with remaining statements of the program. Continue with remaining statements. That is, whatever statements follow after that, remaining statements of program. Continue with remaining statements of program. That is what happens whenever this condition is true. If it is false, the other way happens. If it is false, what happens? If the condition is false, then directly we will continue with the other statement. We will not go for this block. For false, directly it will go with the other statements. If it is true, we execute the statements and go with the other statement of the program. That is the simple functionality of the if statements. Right? So let us see one program to check the working of if statement. What is the program? Determine whether the given number is true or not. We want to give. That is, some number is given to us and we should find whether that given number is positive or negative. We should find whether that given number is positive or negative. So that is the main which will execute, which will show the demonstration of if statement. Right? So this is the program to check whether the given number is positive or negative. So we have included the actually this statement should come here. Clear screen first, it will come. And next we have declared an integer variable. So what happens whenever you write int num, number num is an integer variable. Num is an integer variable. This program is there. This program from this PDF. I am taking the same program here. Whatever this program, I think it is incompletely captured here, not visible. The same program I have copied and pasted here, so that I can write here beside this and you can understand the thing. So it is not a different program, it is the same program from the text. So whenever we declare a variable num, what happens? For that variable number, this is the memory. Some memory location will be reserved for that num variable. So, let us assume that just when you mute yourself. Make sure you mute yourself whenever you join the class. Okay. Now let us see what is happening. On variable num is declared and some memory block. This particular block is reserved for that num variable. Now this is simply clear the output string. It is better practice is to write it here. This statement. Now enter an integer value. This statement will be printed as it is. We are asking user or the programmer to enter an integer value. Whatever you enter, say assume after this you are giving input as 10. Input as 10. And what is the next statement? Next statement is scanf statement. What it does here is it indicates that we are reading an integer data because %d is the format specifier. We are reading an integer from the keyboard and whatever integer is entered from the keyboard, that should be stored at the address of number. That means address of number, ampersand indicates address of number. Store that number at the address of number. If you have entered 10, what happens? In the memory, 10 will be stored here at the address of number. If you have given 10, it will be stored there. Now simply let us check the condition. What is the functionality of the if? If the expression evaluates to true, execute the block of statements. Now we are assuming that we know that if the number is 0 or greater than 0, then it is a positive number. So first check this expression. What is this expression present within the if statement? This is what is the expression present within if statement. Check what it evaluates. So what is the value present in number? In number we have 10 now. So what is this expression now? This expression becomes if 10 is it greater than or equal to 0, true or false. What it indicates here is 10 greater than or 0 is equal to true. So it is evaluating to true. And we know that if the condition within the if statement is true, then we will execute this block of statement. This block of statement will be executed if this is true. So what it prints here is, in the print, percentage D is a positive number. This is the argument for that. This is going to replace the format specifier here. It's going to replace the format specifier. So what it indicates, 10 is a positive number. So what will be printed here? 10 is a positive number. Now immediately after printing this, one more if block is being written here to check whether it is a negative number. If the number is less than or equal, actually here both they are included. It should not be the case. If you write greater than or equal to 0 here, then it must be only less than 0. 1 second, I'll simply correct it here. It must be less than 0, not less than or equal to. Right? So what is the next condition here? Next condition is if number is less than 0. So whatever number is given, is it less than 0? The number is 10. 10 is not less than 0. Now it is going to evaluate to what? It is going to evaluate to false. So when the expression is evaluating to false, then this statement will not execute. This statement will not execute. Why it will not execute? We know that the statements in the if block will execute only if the expression is true. If the expression is false, the statements will not be executed. So that is the normal execution flow of an if statement or if block. Right? So this is in this example they had taken -9. If you enter the negative number, what happens? Then we are going to print that as the negative number. Now this note you must be knowing properly. What it says here is how whenever you are developing programs, we should not add a semicolon at the end of if expression. What happens if you add, the block of statements in the if block will always be executed regardless of the outcome of the conditional expression. Because the syntax of if is like that. You are not supposed to add semicolon here. If this is there, if statement, you are not supposed to write semicolon here. What happens here is this statement will be skipped by the compiler. It will, whatever it evaluates to either true or false, all the statements in the if block will be executed. That means if you have written something like this, if, then opening bracket and then closing bracket. We are not supposed to add semicolon here at the end. Semicolon you should not write. If you write semicolon, what happens? Whatever may be the outcome of this statement, all these will be executed. They will be executed. So at any given point of time, we are not supposed to write semicolon at the end of if statement. If statement, for loop, while loop and do while loop, hash define, main function. So there are certain rules where you should not write the semicolon. As we practice programming, you will learn those things. Now, the small variation of the if statement is if else statement. The small variation of if statement is if else statement. So there are some situation in programming where you want to check one condition. If that condition is true, execute one block of statements. If that condition is false, else check for one more condition. That means two conditions you want to check. That is two sets of instructions we are going to check. One with if and other one is with else block. How it works here is If the given expression is true, then if block will be executed. If the expression is false, then if block instructions are skipped. If it is false, then we are going to skip the statements in the if block, then else block instructions are executed. A program can contain multiple if else statements. So let us see the syntax of this, how the if else statement works. So basically in the if, this is what is if statement and this is what is else statement. We will first evaluate this expression, and this expression will evaluate either true. The expression can become either true or false. The expression can become either true or false. If the expression is true, what happens? Then the set of statements will be executed from this to this. So all these statements will be executed if the expression is true. If the expression is false, what we do? We skip these statements, then execute these else block statements. That means for false value of the expression, these else statements will execute. For true value, these statements will execute. So that is what is required. In earlier if, what was happening? If the condition is false, we were not doing anything. We were executing the statements if the condition is true. The variation of the if else, what it says, if the condition is true, do this work. Else means the condition is false. If the condition is false, then also we are doing some work. So that is what is if else block. That is what is if else block. If it is true, execute this block. If it is false, execute other block. The flowchart will help us to better understand this concept. That is what is if else statement. So this is the entry of the if else statement, and here we have expression within this rhombus. Rhombus will be always used in flowcharts to check an condition or decision making. Expression or some condition. We are going to check some expression or condition. If the condition is true, then execute some statements. Say execute some statement, that is statements A. That is block of statements. If it is false, then execute statements present here. Then execute statements present here. So for true also we are executing some set of statements. For false also we are executing some set of statements. After the execution of both, we will again continue with the normal execution of program. That is continue with execution of program. Continue with execution of program. That is how it works. Whether it is true or false, check the condition. If it is true, execute one block of statements, continue the program execution. Check the condition. If it is false, execute another block of statements, then again continue with the normal flow of the program. That is how if else works. That is how if else works. The same program can be modified. That is, 1 second. Right? So let us check the program now. For demonstrating working of the if else. For demonstrating working of the if else. The C code, we have included the required header files. Right? Required header files are included. Beginning of the main function. Every C programming will start with the main function and it will end. So this is body of the main function, beginning of the main and end of the main function. We are declaring an integer variable. Right? We are declaring an integer number, then we are clearing the screen. So that whatever the previous execution environment is there, that will get erased. That will get erased, the previous execution environment. Now later we are asking user to enter a number. So as I gave earlier explanation, some block of memory will be reserved for the number. Some block of memory will be reserved for the number from the main memory. So we are asking user to enter a number, and that number will be scanned and stored in a variable called num. Now in this case, if the number is say -9, if I give number as -9, then we'll check the condition. Here we have two statements, the if statement and the else statement. So first we'll evaluate the expression present within the if statement. What is this expression? We are going to check whether the number is greater than or equal to 0. What is number? Number is -9. So how this expression becomes now? This expression becomes -9, is it greater than or equal to 0? -9, is it greater than or equal to 0? Then obviously what it becomes? This becomes false. That means the if condition has become false and these statements will not be executed. This statement will not be executed. This will not execute. Why? Because we know that now -9 is not a positive number. So this statement will not be executed. When this is false, it must be true the other way. That means if the number is not greater than or equal to 0, then it is understood that it is less than 0. So that's why we write the else block. Then else block will execute. If the condition is false in the if statement, then else block will execute. So what is present in else block? It says that number is a negative number. That means whatever value is present in number, that will be replaced in this format specifier. So what it says, -9 is a negative number will be printed. So that is how the program works. This is how the program works for the if else condition. For the if else conditions. Do you have any questions or any doubts at this point of time? You can ask. Right? That is what about the if else expression. This program only I have explained now. Whatever program is there that I took this so that PDF it is difficult to write, in Word we can easily write. And this is what is analyzed. Program analysis what it says, if the number is greater than or equal to 0, it is a positive, else it is a negative number. Right. Now let us go for switch statement. So this is a multi-way branching statement in C. Switch statement. What it does here is, it is a multi-way branching or multi-way selection structure. That means again and again you don't want to check the conditions, multiple conditions. You will evaluate the expression only once, and that expression will be compared with multiple values. Whatever condition is true, execute that block of statement. So that is what is switch statement. If you want to avoid multiple if else statement, that means if you want to check 100 conditions, if you write 100 times if else, so it will be more troublesome. So to avoid that, we will go for switch statement. So multi-way selection structure that matches a given expression or variable value with one among the number of values. That is number of integers which are present within the switch statement. And upon successful match, it is going to branch to the corresponding statement block. Whenever the match is successful, it is going to match, it is going to branch or transfer the control to the corresponding statement block. And if none of the conditions are matching, there must be some default value or default expression to be executed. That is, a default value is also specified with the switch statement to take appropriate action in case there is a complete mismatch. Say in the switch statement, there is one expression. Say there are 99 different expressions in the switch statement, and all the 99 different expressions are not matching. In that case also, you should be able to, Nikita, mute yourself. Right? So in that case also, we should be able to execute some default statement. Because if none of the conditions are true, then there must be some default thing what you should do. That is what is present in the default block. So the last statement you observe carefully, the switch statement can be considered as an alternative to multiple if statements, which I said in the beginning. If there are multiple conditions which you want to check, and those multiple conditions, if you skip, if you go on writing, the program length will be more and the complexity will increase. To reduce that complexity, we can go for the switch statement. We can go for the switch statement. That is what is simple syntax of the switch statement. We will first check the expression. We will first check the expression. Expression will be evaluated to some value. It will be having some value. Now that expression value will be compared with the different cases present in the switch statement. That means case number 1, case number 2, case number 3, so on up to case number n, and by default case will be there in the switch statement. Compare this value with this case value. That means if it is 10 and if value 1 is also 10, then this block will be executed. If the value is 20 and the second value is 20 here, then this block will be executed. At any given point of time, only one block in the switch statement will be executed. If it is 30, then if assume that the case third has a value of 30, then this block will be executed. Only one outcome will be there for the expression, and that outcome will be compared with all the different values present in the switch statement. Whichever value is matching, that block will be executed, and only one block in the switch statement will be executed. So to ensure that only one block is executed, at the end of every block there is a break statement. At the end of every block there is a break statement. So what this break statement causes, it will take the control outside the switch statement. That is, take control outside. Take control outside the block of switch statement. Because what is that we have to make sure? We have to make sure either this block 1, let us name this as block 1, block 2, block 3, and so on up to block n. At any given point of time, we are supposed to execute only one block. That's why break is included. If no match is there here, skip this block. Compare with the second block. Check second value with the expression value. If no match, then skip this. Check with the third value. If it is not matching, skip this. Check with the fourth, so on up to, we'll check all the n-1 blocks. If none of the values are matching with the expression, none of the values are matching with this expression, then we will execute this default block. At any given point of time, there must be some default statements which have to be executed. So that is how the switch expression works. This flowchart will help us to understand the execution of switch statement. So entry of the switch statement and some expression will be evaluated. So we will get some value for this expression. For this switch statement, we will get some value, and that value will be compared with the different values. That is, this expression value will be compared with value 1. If it is true, then we'll execute this block 1. If it is true, we'll execute block 1. Then directly we will continue with the next statement. That is, continue with the next statement in the program. We will continue with the next statement in the program. We will continue with the next statement in the program. That means if expression is evaluating to is equal to value 1, then we will execute only one block. The remaining block 2, 3, and up to default, they will be skipped. And assume this is not matching, then we will go evaluate. We will compare the expression value with the value 2. And if this is matching, then we will execute block 2. Then again continue with the execution. So on, we'll compare all the values. If none of the values are matching, what we do? That is what is default statement. Execute the default block and continue with the execution. At any given point of time, one block should execute in the switch statement. And after, at the end of every block, you must write the break statement. So break will cause the program execution to be to take out from the switch statement. To take out from the switch statement. So I'll just give you the logic here, how the switch is working. This is just a program to count the individual digits in a number. Given number, how many individual digits are there? So these are some variables which are declared. We are asking user to enter some number, and that number is being stored in a variable number. And these are the so many switch statements we have included up to case 10. So 9 different cases are included. I'll explain first one. If the number 1 is not equal to 0, then only we have to enter into the while loop. So these loops we will study immediately next after this. So that means the loops will work based on the condition value, whether it is true or false. Now what we are concentrating? We are concentrating on the switch statement. Switch statement, compare this value. If this temp is matching with this case 1, then we will execute this block of statement. If the expression value temp is matching with case 2, then we will execute second block. If temp is matching with case 3, then we will execute third block. That means we are just incrementing the digits. That means this first block will count the number of 1. Second block will count the number of 2. Third block will count the number of 3. The program flow you can trace later and understand. But what is the logic here is, at any given point of time, one block should execute. That's why break is must at the end of every block. This is one block. This is another block. Break is included. This is another block. Break is included. Because we should not execute more than one block. We should not execute more than one block within the C statement, within the switch statement of the C programming. And these are simply display statements of those digits, whatever digits are there in each and every program. And this is the analysis what I said. It is a while loop. While loop will execute if the condition is true. So that will come under the looping statements what we discuss immediately after this. Right? Just concentrate on this note. As I said, the break statement is inserted with each case block. We have inserted break with each case block so that the control exits from the switch statement. As I said just now, the control should exit from the switch construct immediately after meeting the true condition. Because if one block is true, then you should not execute remaining blocks. You have to skip them. Otherwise, if you don't include, what happens? All the remaining case blocks will be sequentially validated. If you don't include break, what happens? Then it will go on comparing with the remaining blocks also. Then we may get falsified results during the execution of program. So it is must to include break within the switch statement. It is must to include break within the switch statement. So one sample execution, I'd like to show one sample execution. Let me check whether it takes or not. Right. If I go for execution, it becomes, the system becomes very slow. That is a problem. we're just checking the condition. If there is some condition which is true, we have to print that number is positive number. Else you have to print number is negative number. Right? This statement I'll just compare. I'll just comment it. It must be double quote. Because that is a C++ program, again I need to include IOStream there. And if I include IOStream.h, again you will get confused. So why am I adding that IOStream and all? So that's why what I will do, I will take one C program itself. Because overall for you, programming is there only by using C, not by using C++. If you are using C++, again the syntax will be changing and every structure will change. So that I can write the program. Yes. It may give some compilation error. One second, some syntax is missing. On sample program, I'll show you the execution of if else, how it works. I just saved the program and the program is being compiled. 1 second, there is an issue with the scanner. Right, it is asking to enter an integer value. To enter an integer value, say I will give 10 and then press enter. What it is printing? 10 is a positive number. It is printing that 10 is a positive number and press any key to continue. Because if this condition, which block is executing now, this if statement is working. Then if this is true, then obviously it is false. The other statement will not execute. The other statement will not execute. So that is how it works. Now see the one more execution. What is the one more execution? I am giving an integer value -9. So what minus 9? Minus 9 is a negative number. That is how the if else block will work. Right? So remaining are self-explanatory. I'll go with the next part. That is the control statements is over now. The system has become slow. Wait for some time. Because if we execute parallelly more than one application, MS Team will consume more bandwidth. Microsoft Teams, that is the issue.